30 years ago, a game came along that would change the gaming industry forever. A small group of dedicated developers invented an entirely new genre of game and created something so special that it would go on to spawn several sequels, prequels, and spin-off titles. A feat most other games would only dream of doing. Games that have achieved this level of popularity and renowned excellence are often referred to as legends, and ranked high above all else one series sits. It stood the test of time over and over again, and it's earned its right to be ranked among the best. I'm of course talking about The Legend of Zelda. With an ever-growing list of games in the series, The Legend of Zelda continues to encapsulate its fans in the world of fantasy. And since the early days, we the players have been ranking these games against themselves in an attempt to truly answer the ever-looming question of which Zelda game is the best. And although I won't be able to give you a definitive answer in this video, today I want to list my personal top 5 favorite Zelda games. Number 5. Oddly enough, my opinions of this game have changed drastically since I replayed it recently on the channel. When Twilight Princess originally released in 2007, I actually didn't like the game at all. Aesthetically speaking, I found it to be much too dark and thought the realistic look Nintendo was going for didn't pan out well enough on the limited hardware of the Wii. But after not playing it for a few years and coming back to it, I have to say, I enjoyed my playthrough much more than I thought I would. Midna, your companion for the entirety of the game, is easily one of the best companions in the entire series, and her character development ties in perfectly with the overarching story and mystery of the game. In fact, first-time players might even have a hard time figuring out if she really wants to help Link, or if she is just using him to achieve her own motives for a good part of the game. Characterization is one of the game's strong suits for sure. A lot of people you meet have backstories to them, or have some connection to Link, which in turn is used to drive the story forward. And before too long, you become fully enamored with these characters and want to see the story through to the end. Visually, I still think the game suffers from being a tad on the darker side, and I know this ties directly into the plot, but I still think they could have brightened up the color palette just a bit to give it a more vibrant feel, while keeping the darker undertones. Although I did notice they adjusted this slightly for the HD remake on the Wii U. Otherwise, the game is alright for its time, but due to the realistic art style and character models, the game looks a little bit dated, even on the HD remake for Wii U, which might turn some people off. Twilight Princess tells a more mature tale than most. Without getting into spoilers, it's interesting to see Link go from just a boy on a ranch to the hero of Hyrule. Several twists and turns lead to one of the most satisfying endings to any Zelda game ever, and the post-credit scene of Twilight Princess will forever be one of the most memorable parts of the game for me. And that's why Twilight Princess is my number 5 spot on this list. Number 4. A Link to the Past is the first Zelda game I ever played, and oddly enough, I still believe it to be one of the best Zelda games ever made. This title really cemented what we would call the Zelda formula. Up until this point, I feel like Nintendo really didn't know what direction to take The Legend of Zelda, but when this game released in 1991 on the Super Nintendo, it changed everything. For the first time, we got a simple yet detailed plot in the game, character development from both main characters and NPCs, a huge world to explore, and stunning 16-bit graphics that look good even to this day. Not only that, but many of the iconic tunes that exist in the Legend of Zelda series can be traced back to A Link to the Past. The Dark World theme, the Castle theme, and of course the Dungeon theme. This game perfectly captures the spirit of adventure. A Link to the Past expected you to look in every single nook and cranny to find secrets and items you would actually need to complete the game. It wasn't held back by tutorials or hints to guide the player. Sure, you were given a vague idea of where you had to go next, but you could pretty much do whatever you wanted in the meantime. A Link to the Past was a pivotal success in the Legend of Zelda series, and in my book, it's a must-play for any Zelda fan, and that's why it's my number 4 pick. Number 3. Zelda, Ganon, Hyrule? You don't need all those things to make a great Zelda game, do you? Well, apparently not, because Majora's Mask was released in 2000 for the Nintendo 64, and boy was it different. And I mean that in the best kind of way. It was dark, spooky, and held so many mysteries, some of which are still being discussed to this day. It's the definition of a cult classic and truly a wonderful little game. Majora's Mask took some parts of the Zelda formula that had been developing and threw it away to try something new. A game based entirely around a 3-day cycle, a masked maniac as the antagonist, and a plot driven mostly by NPCs and optional side quests. You see, unlike other Zelda games, Majora's Mask doesn't just spoon-feed you the story. It makes you work for it, and depending on how much effort you put into learning about this world and helping the various NPCs, it could affect your basic understanding of the game's plot and potentially even change the way you go about completing it. Although most consider this game to be the little brother to Ocarina of Time, I personally find that the minor improvements made both visually and gameplay-wise make this game just stand a little bit taller than Ocarina. And despite only having 4 temples, I believe this is one of the harder 3D Zelda games out there, especially if you want to get the most out of it by going for 100% completion. And I highly recommend doing so because it is so satisfying to collect all the masks, help out all the NPCs, and finally save the world of Termina from the threat of the falling moon. Number 2. The number 2 spot goes to the sequel to the game at number 4, A Link Between Worlds. That's right, this game takes place 100 years after A Link to the Past and uses the same overworld and top-down perspective. Despite having several similarities to A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds manages to be its own thing, and it achieved this by changing up the Zelda formula just enough to keep it fresh. The biggest change is the item rental system, something I thought I wouldn't like at first, but after playing the game, it quickly became one of my favorite features. Having several items near the start of the game really opened up the world and allowed me as the player to choose where I wanted to go next, and that freedom was incredible. Not only that, but the new merging ability really added a whole new dimension to temples and puzzle solving. I think I had the most aha moments while playing this game. You know, those moments when you're stuck on something but then all of a sudden the solution pops in your head? Yeah, those are some of my favorite moments when playing a Zelda game, and A Link Between Worlds delivered and kept delivering throughout the entire game. The game looks amazing for being on the 3DS, and it takes those classic tunes from A Link to the Past and updates them to sound incredible and nostalgic at the same time. I didn't expect the story to be anything special, but the ending is one of my favorites, and I truly think that A Link Between Worlds is my favorite 3DS game to date, so I'm happy to give it the second spot on this list. Number 1. Yes, you all knew this was coming. My number 1 spot goes to The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. This 2002 GameCube exclusive was released to a split fanbase, as several praised the game for its cel-shaded graphics and fun gameplay, while others laughed and called it too kiddie. Over the years though, the naysayers have diminished, and generally speaking, everyone thinks this game is great. The cartoony cel-shaded graphics have given this game the ability to stand the test of time. The GameCube version still looks great to this day, although I would probably recommend the HD remake on the Wii U as the ultimate Wind Waker experience. Not only does the game look good, it plays good. The years between the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube really allowed Nintendo to tweak not only the camera, but the general feel of how you control Link, and boy does it feel good. Wind Waker might be one of the best feeling Zelda games out there. Everything is solid from combat to movement, and nothing really feels off to me. Personally, I feel like this is the perfect Zelda game to give to anyone new to the series. It's visually appealing with its bright colors and cartoony feel, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, however still manages to have a wonderful and engaging story that never gets in the way of the player's main objectives. That combined with the huge ocean overworld with tons to see and do, the game manages to capture the exploration element of Zelda perfectly. Wind Waker also solves a lot of problems before they exist, and as someone who is often overly critical of games, I love this. Don't want to complete a dungeon in one sitting? Don't worry, the game has teleporters at the beginning, middle, and end of a dungeon. It's one of the few games that I can play without thinking to myself, oh, if they only added this or changed that, it would be a better game. Mostly because Wind Waker already has those features, especially on Wind Waker HD. The addition of the quick sail to get around faster and slight change to the ending Triforce Piece Collection quest solved two of the game's biggest complaints from critics. All of that combined is why I love The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker and why it will always be my #1 favorite Zelda game. At least until Breath of the Wild comes out, because that makes every other Zelda game look like trash. Anyways, that's gonna do it for my top 5 favorite Zelda games. As always, feel free to post your own top 5s in the comments down below. I look forward to reading them. If you guys could do me a huge favor and drop a like on this video or potentially share it with one of your friends, it would help me out a bunch. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. But once again guys, my name is Matt, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.